Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this Python video tutorial series, today let's talk about Python numbers. Okay, so what kind of numbers do we deal in Python is basically we have different type of numbers. First one is integers, float, and complex numbers. Okay, let's see this three numbers one by one with example. So for beginners who doesn't know what integers is in a layman term, in a simple words, it's nothing but it's just a numeric value. Okay, for example, let me go to my Python. So we have, let's say we'll take x equal to 1. X equal to 1 is an integer. So Python in other programming languages, you have to actually explicitly specify the data type, whereas in Python, you do not have to specify it. Interpreter has the capability to understand what data type is. So here we are specifying integer value. So x equal to 1 is an integer. So how do we confirm this is an integer or not? Maybe I will try to print the type of it. Type of x. Okay, so this is an integer. So now you can see it throws me an integer value. So similarly, another interesting type what we have in here is earlier in Python 2 we had another number called long number. Okay, so long, we generally call it long because we whenever the number is huge we call it as long. So in that situation what we in Python 2 what we did is we specified a value, and then we specified an alphabet L with smaller capital letter. Okay, so Python 2 did had this option, but whereas with Python 3, this option is no longer available. The long is not available in Python 3. So here, it's if you so I have installed Python 3 here, so it's throwing me an error. So I'm gonna remove that L option, L alphabet. So here in Python 3, the integer itself has the capability to handle longer values. It is not necessary to um, have the a long number. The interpreter has the capability to convert the number and allocate the number based on its memory. Okay, so maybe I can show an example. Here I have given a range. You can, if you want to refer to the range, you can refer to. So the minimum value is minus 128 and maximum value is 127. So this is the minimum and maximum value when you work with um, different kind of integers, right? So we had for example, if you're working in a 32-bit system, or if you're working in a 64-bit system, so this is the default number capability when you work with this kind of 32-bit or 64-bit system. So this so whenever this for example, if you take the example integer 16, right? So here the maximum value is 32767. So whenever this number exceeds it, the interpreter has the capability to move to the next level. It automatically converts it into a next it automatically allocates memory for the next I should say it as a to next level of data. Okay, so here in probably I should call it as next set of range. Okay, so this is how Python 3, this is how Python 3 has updated, and it does not have a long number anymore. So if I write any number of integers here, it's gonna give me integer value only. Okay, so this is the first number type we saw. Next one is, let's see about a float. Okay, float float is nothing but decimal value. So whenever we want to use decimal values, then the data type we here is called as float. So 14, for example, let's have 14.34. So now this is a float value. Now we found out the data type of the value number is float. Okay, so this is uh, the next one. And another interesting exponential form we can use here is using the alphabet called e. Okay, e to the power of, so basically it means 10 to the power of the particular number. So let's say 4. Okay. Now let me try and print and show you what x is actually. So print x, so it will repeat for 0 4 times. Yeah, here it is. So whenever you want to use that exponential, like 10 to the power of something, then you can use the exponential form of e, where it will print the amount, the number of times the actual uh, zeros to be presented, like 10 to the power of how much. So that's what we can specify here. Now again, if you see, whenever you use that exponential form, it automatically takes it as a float data type. So now here we saw it as a float. Now we can see it as a float data type. Okay, so maybe I will change to e to the power of some. Now it prints me 707 times, and again it is a float data type. So this is another interesting way of using float data type in Python numbers. And finally, next is we have something called complex. Okay, so complex is something which is not widely used, but um, uh, probably you can be aware of it whenever you want to deal with some complex mathematical problems. Then you can use this complex number. The format is something like this. So let me put 2j. Okay, so j is an imaginary part here. So let me, so now you can see it is a complex number. So if I try to give any other alphabet, it will not work. Okay, so yeah, when I enter I, it throws me an error because it is not able to identify whether it is a string or an integer. Okay, but whereas if I enter the alphabet j, uh, my Python is able to understand that it is an imaginary part. Basically, here it is an imaginary value. Let's see another example where 1 plus 2j. So again, this is another format of complex number. Okay, so here one is a real part. So the value, this I can call this as a. This is an real part, and again number 2 is again it's I can call it as a b. It is gonna be real part, and finally j is then imaginary part. So it will be something like a is a real part, and b is an real part again, and j is an imaginary part. So obviously after the plus sign this will be an imaginary part. So a plus imaginary part. Okay, um, so this is how you can use a complex data type in Python numbers. Okay, so these are the very basic stuffs which I wanted to cover as part of this video. But apart from this, if you want to learn more about Python numbers, we have wide um, like Python number, the syllabus is quite huge. So you can start learning about mathematical operations like how to use min, maximum. For example, is minimum method, maximum method, square root. So there are a lot of mathematical expressions or mathematical inbuilt methods. You can learn how to use it. Again, one more popular which I want to highlight is using how to use random numbers. There's a method called random. So you can try using these methods and let me know how this comes out to you. And again, as usual, if you have any queries, post it in the comment section. Thank you.